Molweni, Sanibonani, Dumela, Wishini. Hello everybody, and welcome or welcome back to African Xhosa ASMR. So, a long time ago, I made a video titled Makeup Application Role Play in Xhosa. And a few weeks back, I received a comment, and someone was asking me a really interesting question. They said, I know that this video is in Xhosa, but I couldn't help but notice that some of the words you're using are English words. So, are you using those words to make it easier for me to understand what you're saying, or are you using those words because they don't exist in your language? And I was like, that is such an interesting question, and it's also a deep question, and I'll just make a video about it. So that's exactly what today's video is all about. I will be talking about African languages on the brink of extinction and how we as Africans are slowly losing our cultural identity. I will start off by stating the issue at hand, and then I will mention some of the possible reasons for this. And lastly, I will conclude by stating whether or not I think there's future for African languages. So just sit back, relax, and hopefully you will enjoy watching this video. Without further ado, let's get started. Singaphozisanga maseko, masigawule, siwarhoqa. So, in Africa, there are about more than 51 languages which have been reported extinct. In South Africa alone, there is Komani San community that's originally from the Kalahari. This community uses a native language called Ngcu. I remember a couple of years ago watching the news, and they were stating that this language is on the brink of extinction. And at that time, there were about 3 elders reported to be fluent in this language, and out of these 3 elders, the youngest was 81 years old at the time, and young people were being encouraged to learn the language in order for the language to live on once those elders pass. The Ngcu language is one of the clicking languages, and it is more complex than isiXhosa, because in isiXhosa you have certain words and then you just throw clicks here and there, but the Ngcu language only uses clicks, and there's so many different clicks, more clicks than the clicks we have in the Xhosa language. And what makes it more interesting is that if I were to spell Ngcu in Xhosa, I would say NCU, Ngcu. But in the Ngcu language, you spell it by saying N /U. That's because the clicks are not spelled using alphabets, or they are not spelled using the alphabets that we know. For example, the C click is spelled using /. And then they also have a click called, like you kissing, the click. When they saying certain words, they use. And if you were to spell in the Ngu language, you would say a circle and then a dot inside the circle. That's how you spell in the Ngu language. I don't know whatever happened to that language, and I never heard anything from it after that. But all I know is that us as Africans are slowly losing our cultural identity, and our languages are slowly being diluted by English. To make an example, using isiXhosa. If I were to ask someone, particularly a young individual, to translate this statement for me, answer your phone, it's ringing, they would probably say, ansarisha ifoni yako iyaringa. Ansarisha ifoni yako iyaringa. That's not really Xhosa. You're basically using English words and you're adding a bit of vowels here and there. And that's why I'm saying the language is being diluted. So, how would you say it in Xhosa? You would say, Pendula imfonomfono yako iyakhala. Pendula imfonomfono yako iyakhala. But nowadays, you wouldn't really find someone saying that except for an elder. But young people wouldn't say that. They would say, ansarisha ifoni yako iyaringa. Ansarisha, which is more like answer, ifoni, which is a phone, iyaringa, which is ringing. But pendula is answer, imfonomfono is a phone, iyakhala is ringing. So, to make another example, let's say you were in a Xhosa class and then your teacher gives you homework. When you come back to class the following day, the Xhosa teacher would at times say, niyenzile i-homework, which translates to, did you guys do your homework? Homework is not really a Xhosa word now, is it? It's an English word. But people have normalized it as Xhosa by just adding an I at the start of the word. Niyenzile i-homework? Did you guys do your homework? But if you were to translate that to Xhosa, you would say, niwenzile umsebenzi wenu wasekhaya, which means, did you guys do your homework? Niwenzile umsebenzi wenu wasekhaya, because a homework is umsebenzi wasekhaya. So that is exactly what is happening when our languages are being diluted by English. But at the same time, we cannot run away from the fact that, yes, there are words which are English words and we don't really have them in our language. Or maybe they have gone extinct since we have used English so much. An example of a word is a policeman. We call it ipolisa in Xhosa. And and such words are referred to as amagama emboleko, which means borrowed words. So that's exactly what is happening right now in many African languages. We're slowly using English words such that someone can't even complete a sentence or a phrase without including just one or two English words. So, the big question at hand is why? Why is this happening? Why are African languages being diluted by English? What was the reason? In a Caribbean voice. Well, there are a couple of reasons that I thought of. The first one being that during apartheid, the white government enforced the use of Afrikaans, which is a language related to Dutch. At school, black students were forced to learn in Afrikaans and English and not their home language. The students were not happy about this. They said they want to embrace their culture, so they would love to learn in their home languages as well. But the apartheid government said no. So what happened is, on the 16th of June in 1976, black school children peacefully took to the streets to protest against the apartheid government education policies. And the government was not happy about this, such that a lot of young people ended up their lives during that day. You can't use certain words on YouTube, so you have to look at my gestures to see what I'm saying because of the new YouTube policies. So till this day, that day is remembered as a day in South African history, and it is also considered as a public holiday because we pay tribute to the young people who, for us, in order to have the freedom to learn in whichever language we want to learn in. So now you're being given an opportunity to learn in English and your home language, or in English and Afrikaans. Growing up in the school I went to, in primary school, you learned 3 languages. You learned English, Afrikaans, and your home language. But then in high school, you get to choose whether you want to learn English with Afrikaans or English with your home language. But unfortunately, till this day, some schools, more especially good private schools, do not give you an opportunity to learn in your home language. They only provide Afrikaans. So if you want to go to that school, you have to learn Afrikaans and English and not your home language. So I think that's one of the reasons. And the second reason is because of, I think we have identity crisis, because a lot of people, or at least some black people, tend to follow other people, and they follow other identities without any quibbling, such that people who are more fluent in their home languages and not in English English are considered and they are frowned upon. But people who are fluent in English and know nothing about their home language are considered. They are considered smart people, they are considered upper class, and they are given the mentality that they will amount to bigger and greater things in life. But the opposite is true for people who are fluent in their home languages instead of English. And if you are a black person and no one finds you speaking English, or you are not fluent in English, or you speak English in a black accent, they consider you lower class, or you're never really going to amount to anything to some extent, and all that. And you made a laughing stock at times, and people make jokes about your English. To make an example, in South Africa, there is a local soapy called Uzalo. This is a Zulu soapy. So people in this soapy speak isiZulu. Even though those people speak isiZulu, they might sprinkle a bit of English here and there. But there is this character called Umondli. Mondli doesn't use English at all. And there were people making jokes about that, saying that they've never had Mondli speaking English. Maybe it's probably because he doesn't know how to speak English, and they were laughing at him. But this character speaks very fluent and beautiful isiZulu, but nobody cared about that. They cared about the fact that they've never had him speaking English, so which means that he's not really smart to some extent, and they were making jokes about that. And another example is the character of Unonka in the same soapy. On the other hand, with Nonka, apparently she did speak English, but according to their standards, she didn't speak proper English. So they were making jokes about her character as well on social media, saying that she speaks broken English and she doesn't know how to speak English, and they were laughing and making jokes about her character as well. So people laugh at you and make you a laughing stock if you don't speak fluent English, or if you speak English using an African accent. But if you speak English using the Model C accent, as they call it, which is the accent whereby if you close your eyes and you try listening to someone, you might think that a white person is speaking. So if you have a white accent, people praise you and they put you on this pedestal, and all that. So I think that's one of the reasons, because now everybody is shying away from their home languages and trying to learn as much English as they possibly can, so that they won't be made a laughing stock. Because if you can speak English and you don't really speak your home language, everybody's like, wow, impressive, but you don't know anything about your home language, you only speaking English. So English is seen as a form of status, or you're in a better state of being if you are able to speak English. So that's due to identity crisis, as I call it, according to my opinion. So I think that's one of the reasons why we are slowly losing our cultural identity. And the third reason could be because of the entertainment industry. We cannot run away from the fact that the entertainment industry has a huge impact on our society. And in South Africa, the entertainment industry is such a small industry. It's still growing, but it's so small. But we do have local TV stations. But these local TV stations don't have a lot of local TV shows, such that maybe at 6:30 they would play a local TV program. Then at 7, maybe it's the news, and then at 7:30 they play an American sitcom, and then at 8 they play a local TV program, and then 8:30 then they play another American program, but it's a local TV station. So that is what is happening. And even in those local TV programs, you don't find people speaking just their home language. You'd find out that they're speaking, mixing their home language with English, their home language with English. So that is what is happening. And most of our TV programs are American TV programs. So you already have local TV stations that are playing, local shows which do not really use our home languages at times. They sometimes use English mixed with their home languages. And then you'd have American TV stations, a lot of American TV stations playing American TV shows. And those TV shows are in English. So you're consuming a lot of English content. And to add to that, even the music industry, most stations at times play like American music. And there was a point whereby African or South African artists were complaining about local radio stations and local, TV music stations, and they were saying that they are mostly playing American, music, and they are not supporting them as local artists, such that there were stations which said, you know what, starting from now on we will only be playing like South African music. And that's basically what happened. But at times people who sing in their home languages, or sing in terms of their culture, there's a car coming. Those people who sing using their languages, they don't really get the credit that they deserve at times. To make an example, there is a South African artist called Ubabes Wodumo. Ubabes sings using her home language, and there was a point whereby she was complaining for this South African awards show that I don't know whether she was complaining because she didn't get nominated or she didn't get an award. But she was complaining, and a lot of people made her a meme, and she was made a laughing stock about for complaining. But guess what? Even though she didn't get any award locally, she did get international recognition for her music, and she was nominated for a BET award for her like local, music that she sings using her home language. So at times you'd get that there are local artists who sing in their home languages, but they do not get the recognition that they deserve locally, but on an international scale they are getting recognized. But this is also slowly changing because a lot of people are now starting to realize that Africa is the future. We should better start embracing our roots and start singing in our roots, and new music genres are developing in native languages, and those people are now getting international recognition. And because of that, young musicians are like, if we do this, we can also get that recognition and whatnot. So people are slowly starting to sing in their own home languages, and I think it's also such a beautiful thing. Which then brings me to the last point, which is, do I think there's hope for African languages? Well, honestly speaking, I don't know. I think yes and no. I think yes, because since people who are embracing their cultural identity are getting international recognition, everybody is hopping on that boat. Back in the day, nobody really cared, but now, since they're getting the recognition, everybody just wants to hop in. And now everybody's starting to embrace their cultural identity, and our industries in entertainment are now starting to showcase more people, embracing their culture, their heritage and all that. And also, there are people who are starting to focus more on like African poetry, African attire, African fashion, and all that. So, because of that, I think maybe, but I think not at the same time, due to the identity crisis factor in terms of English being put on a pedestal and people speaking their own languages being frowned upon. But if we could also learn to love and appreciate our own languages and also not look down upon people who are fluent in their home languages more than they are in English, then there could be hope for us. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the future holds for us. And it's beautiful to embrace your culture and heritage. Don't shy away from being you. And yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and I don't want to bring down any language by making this video. I was just simply expressing my views based on that comment. I think all languages are beautiful, all languages are amazing, and it's a form of communication, and I think it's a wonderful thing to have in the world, and we should love each and every single language. So yeah, ndiyabulela ngoba ninibukele. Phela njalo uhlelo lwethu lwanamhlanje. Thank you very much for watching, and that's going to be it for today's video. Nilale kakuhle, niphole kakuhle, nizole kakuhle, nokuba yintoni nantoni eniyenzayo, niyenze kakuhle. And what that means is good night, sleep tight, sweet dreams, and whatever it is that you do, I hope that you will flourish. Mna ndiza kubona kwixesha elizayo. I will see you next time. Bye.